Maia, please tell us what your contribution to the BrandTrust learning journey is.
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, we're doing a one-day program that's meant very much about innovation and trying out new ideas. So these can be things that are specific to one's industry or just trying out new things in general. And the idea there is that we really want to bring in kind of the Austin startup mentality into the way a lot of people think as far as kind of how business is conducted and whatnot. The second thing, of course, is that over the last 10 years, we've made up a really great network of some of the top entrepreneurs here in Austin. So giving BrandTrust people a chance to come and meet with them one-on-one, to hear their story individually, to jump in whenever they want to, and just get a really personal view of what some of these top Austin business leaders are like, what their businesses look like on the inside, and things like that. So that's a little bit of what we're bringing.
What makes Austin so special in the startup scene?
So there's a couple things. First of all, Austin has an incredible level of talent. So tech talent, business, all kinds of stuff. And way off in the distance somewhere you can actually see the University of Texas, and those students tend to stay here and grow up with the startup scene. So there's a tremendous amount of talent, but also the culture of Austin is a very laid back type of culture. So compared to a place like San Francisco where it's incredibly intense, Austin is a place that the startup scene has a bit more of what we call work-life balance. So for people who are looking to do a startup, but they still want to have some type of personal life as well, it's a great place to be. People love the culture, and they also like to move here. So if you're a startup in Austin, attracting talent to the city is a very easy sell because everybody wants to come here. Finally, the other thing is that the cost of living is actually really affordable compared to a place like San Francisco. You don't have to be a multimillionaire just to own a home in Austin, which you do have to be in San Francisco.
Do you feel that Americans feel more comfortable with failure?
Yes, absolutely. So over the last several years of being with 3-Day Startup, I've facilitated our multi-day programs all around the world. So many of them have been in the US, but many of them have also been in Europe, Asia, Africa, basically every place other than Australia. And Americans have a tendency to feel like failure isn't such a big deal. If you try a startup and it doesn't work out, you can try another startup or go get a job with somebody or whatever. So it's just seen as not a very big deal. In Europe, it's something that you can see people are much more hesitant about starting something if there's any chance that it won't work out.
You kind of answered the last question already, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
In your opinion, is there a difference between the American and European startup culture? And if, what is it?
Yeah, so it is an interesting question because in many ways it's very similar. The kind of startup ideas that you hear are very, very similar in the US and also in Europe. There's also a fair mix of people who are native to that region, whether it be Germany or England, plus immigrants. That happens in both Europe and America. But yeah, the biggest difference has been the tolerance for failure. We see our programs, like whether it's in Germany or the United Kingdom or somewhere in America, at the beginning the ideas are very similar, but it's what happens afterwards. And we see a lot of people in Europe are they're a little hesitant to try and move this forward because they're afraid that if this doesn't work out, they're just afraid of what happens to their personal brand, how people will perceive them afterwards. So I think one of the best things that can happen for Europe as far as the startup scene is just getting over that fear of failure, that fear that feeling that everything has to be perfect the first time, and just try it out. And if it doesn't work, just keep evolving, basically.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time.